Hi, I'm Ken Felty, the International Business Development Manager for Golden Boat Lifts, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about bunks. The bunks are becoming more and more complicated. The days have gone by where the 3 by 10 by 16 fully carpeted wood board and the 2 by 8 by 12 foot carpeted wood board worked on the majority of the boats. The boats have gotten a lot more sophisticated, and we've had to develop new ways to meet the demand of these boats. And one of the ways is this I-beam bunk. It's a 10 by 6 aluminum I-beam. They come in different lengths. These, I believe, are 20 feet long. We can make them up to 30, 40 feet long, depending on the boat. But we are actually taking synthetic decking and stacking it to make steps so that we fit the bottom of the boat, so the boat sits nice and flat on each step. Another feature is the bracket that they're mounted to the lift with is angled to match the dead rise of the boat. So these vary from boat to boat. So we have bunks now for pontoon boats, various V-hulls, including this I-beam bunk again, that's not a step hull, but it is made to match the degree of dead rise of the boat with synthetic decking. We also, on this bunk as well, instead of the synthetic decking, we can put a carpeted wood board. So it kind of depends on the boat whether we go that way or not. But this has really become a favorable way of doing it because they're pretty much a lifetime bunk. There's an extruded aluminum bunk that is in an 8-inch tall and a 10-inch tall with a 19-degree pitch to the top. There's an extruded aluminum bunk that has a flat top. The flat top works really well on a lot of the shallow water boats that are here in South Florida because the bottoms of those are pretty flat, and that flat top extruded aluminum bunk works well for that. So that pretty much covers the majority of the bunks we're using today. The wood bunk, the extruded aluminum bunks, the I-beam bunks. Pretty common for these I-beam bunks to become the product of choice. We are doing quite a few catamarans. They've become a really popular boat. And we take this I-beam bunk then, and you have to put them about a foot apart and create a V to set the sponson of the catamaran in. So what you'd end up with on a big catamaran, like an Invincible or a Freeman, you would have 4 bunks on that boat lift. 2 bunks about a foot apart, and then the distance between the sponsons, 2 more bunks about a foot apart to really cradle both parts of that boat. Being a multi-hull boat, you've got to cradle it all. We've talked to the engineers at Freeman and Invincible and some of the other manufacturers, and they really prefer that we cover as much of the sponson as possible. So I've seen them out in the field with little chocks underneath them and just a small portion of that cat hull being supported. The engineers at those boat manufacturers really don't care for that method at all. And it's possible that it could affect their hull warranty. They really like the way we do it and cover as much of the hull as possible. A real important fact when you're bunking a boat like this with these heavy-duty aluminum I-beam bunks, or any bunk for that matter, is underneath that boat, there's through holes, there's transducers. Those things have to be avoided and requires proper bunk placement so you don't come up on one of those through holes or transducers. You want to avoid the trim tabs as well. So it really takes a professional at least the first time to bunk your boat, because there's things under there that you probably don't even know as the owner that they're there. The through holes for your electronics, the scuppers, things of that nature, they all need to be avoided. Another method of bunking boats as well, if you go into these larger lifts, our yacht lifts, start getting above 50, 60,000 pounds, a lot of times the boats set better on a keel board. So what we would do on a boat lift like this, between the 2 cradles, there would be another I-beam with a board on top of that, and the weight of the boat is actually going to sit right on the keel. There will be bunks or adjustable stanchions on the port and starboard side of the boat, but that's mainly for just to keep the boat upright. The majority of the weight would be setting on the keel. That usually starts to happen on boats. It really varies by the boat manufacturer, but somewhere 40,000, 50,000 plus, that's where you start to see boats sitting on keels. The flexibility of this style of bunk is excellent too, because if you were to change boats, this current setup is the dead rise of that bracket is set to match this boat. If you were to change boats and the dead rise changes, you could keep the base part of that whole I-beam bunk you could reuse it again. The only thing you have to do is these angled brackets would need changed to match the dead rise of your new boat. So it really makes them flexible to help you change boats in the future and change back and forth. And in a marina environment, that makes it nice for the marina owners as well to be able to change just that bracket, not the entire bunk. All right, I think I've covered the majority of the bunks that we're using today. I'm sure this will change in the future as these boats become more and more sophisticated and complicated. We've noticed that change over the last few years from just a standard V-hull boat to these step hulls. And now the step hulls are becoming not just straight steps, they're actually putting angles on each step, so it makes it a little bit more complicated. Just stay tuned to our website, www.goldenboatlifts.com. Thank you.